Hello, welcome back to BA Creative. Thanks for stopping by today. Today we're going to be making the October gratitude page in my little gratitude tag book for the Dina Wakley 2019 Gratitude Challenge. And these are all the things that I use: some distress inks, some distress archival inks, the tag book that I made previously. Those are some leftover tag scraps. Again, I'm going to try to use the Dina Wakley Media Scribble Sticks and the Dina Wakley Scribbly Bird stamp set. So this month's challenge was obstacles, and I had an idea this time. Last month I just wang it. That's not even a word. I flew by the seat of my pants. There we go. I didn't have an idea. I didn't have a plan. So this month, I at least had an idea of what I wanted to kind of represent obstacles, and I knew that I wanted a bird, and I wanted that bird to be in a nest, and I wanted that bird in a nest to sit on a branch. So those were three design things that I had going for me. Before I started filming, I stamped and fussy cut out one of those scribbly birds. That's probably my favorite bird. I use it all the time. I also scribbled out what have decided is my interpretation of a nest. It kind of looks like a bowl, which is okay, because what is a nest but a bird bowl? I'm going with that. And then I just cut a slit in the middle of it after I had scribbled all over top of it so that I could slide that bird in as kind of like a tuck spot. Because this month's theme is obstacles, and I kind of wanted to write a little bit, journal a little bit on the back of the bird, and I didn't want like everybody seeing my business. So that's why I decided to do that. We're going to go ahead and speed this up and start making this little page in our tag book. I have some deli paper that I have stamped on with some Tim Holtz stamps just randomly a couple months ago that I'm trying to use up. And I know that I want to put that down, but the background is really, really bright. I was worried it was going to get lost. So I do what I do a lot of times. I do what I do. I am doing what I typically do when I need to tone down a really colorful or bright background. I will paint over it with some white gesso, and that is the Dina Wakley brand gesso. I absolutely love it. It is so smooth. Oh my god, y'all, it's like butter. If that gesso was lotion, I would rub it all over my body. It is amazing, and it dries really quickly. And unlike the Liquitex gesso, even though I'm using the gel medium right there, it's not gritty. It just creates this wonderful palette. So I'm go ahead and gluing that down. And if you don't know, if you use gel medium on deli paper or tissue paper or collage paper, what have you, and once you put this top coat on, the paper kind of disintegrates almost. You can't really see it. Sometimes you can depending on the background, but typically, see, it kind of like melted into the tag. So this is where I'm going to, I'm showing you the little scribbly bowl that I did, this little scribbly bird bowl, also known as a nest. That's what I did with pencil, and then I just took my Elegant Writer, which is a water-soluble pen, and just literally scribbled all around it. That's exactly what I did. And then I just cut it out. That's it. And I just drew it on brown cardstock because I don't want to have to like spend time painting it. So I'm trying to figure out exactly where to put this bird in its little bird bowl. And I left this part in here because I think it's important for new art journalists or mixed media artists or whatever it is, if you're just new to making and crafting, to see the deliberation process, to see that, I mean, I'm not a Picasso by any means. I do draw a little bit, as you can see, and I mean a very little bit. But when I first started doing all of this with like paints and watercolor, all I ever saw were YouTube videos that were, the finished product was perfect. I need to see mistakes. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I want to see the artist's mistakes. I want to see them deliberate. I want to see their thought process. Because it's through mistakes that we learn. And I think that it's really important for new artists. So, for example, I didn't like that. I thought it looked like crap. So I'm redrawing it. Like that one a lot better. That is just an old piece of book paper that I've ripped out of a book. It hurt my heart to do that, but I don't know, every time I do it, it gets easier. I'm going over it with a fine liner, and I'm just going to cut that out. Again, with the cutting, I know. I did bring the camera in a little bit closer this time so that you could actually see what I was doing. But I'm just going to fussy cut that out of the book page, and I'll save the scraps. I always wind up using the scraps for something. If nothing else, I'll just like Franken-page a page together for a junk journal. And now I'm going to try to figure out exactly where to place this on the tag. This took me a minute because I knew that I wanted it, I just didn't know where I wanted it at. So eventually we decided to make the bird fit. It's going to have to go down in that little bottom corner. So I'm still kind of feeling like the background is a little too bright. So I'm going to add some more gesso, again the Dina Wakley gesso, and I'm going to go ahead and cover up some of that collage that I did too. And I love how this turned out. The tag was gel plated with distress spray stains, I think. That tag got done probably like 2 years ago, and I've been sitting on it that long. So you can see that it's kind of, the gesso's kind of moving the distress spray stain just a little bit, but that's okay. It's still mostly white, and I don't think it would have looked as great if it had just been like a shocking bright white. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and we're going to position the bird. Again, I'm going to do some gel medium right over the top to act as a glue. I really don't like this gel medium. I'm trying to use it all up before I go buy a different brand. It seems like no matter how long it sits or how long I let it dry, it's still sticky. Like it never fully dries. That drives me crazy. Okay, so we're going in with the scribble sticks, and I was kind of excited this time because this worked so much better than last month's tag. The color came out so much better. So while I still feel like it's probably user error, I also think that depending on the color of the scribble stick, the pigment is going to be different. I guess that's because I actually swatched them out in between videos, and I used the same pressure on the same cardstock, and different pigments were more pigmented than others. Is that a word? More pigmented? They were dark. I don't know. Someone who is in the art community, please correct my grammar on that. They were definitely more pigmented. So the darker colors seem to work better. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to actually tone down some of that pigment because it was a little bit too red, and there are no other reds in the tag, and I really was hoping to kind of keep a consistent theme. So I'm going back over the bird, and you can see that I'm not being super careful about this. Like you can see some of the white around the edges, and I'm just kind of like scribbling like a child would, which is okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, this is not going into a museum. This is sitting on my craft desk, and it's still sticky. But it's not, this is not archival quality. This is not museum grade. Like, it's just a sticky little tag book that I've made that I'm doing all these things. So I'm just trying to blend it out a little bit. I mean, let's give the appearance that I know what I'm doing. At least at the tiniest little bit. Otherwise, why the crap am I making a YouTube video? And I'm just going back in with some of that and trying to blend that back out. So this part took forever, it felt like. And watching it now, I realize that this is taking a long time to color this little bird. My husband watched my first video, and he said, you monologue like Mystery Science Theater is watching a craft video. Yeah, these monologues, I'm just going to go with that because Mystery Science Theater is hysterical, and I would love for them to review one of my videos. As you can see, I have switched over from using the Liquitex gel medium excuse me, to some of the Distress Collage medium, which is so much better, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And I only have, I hoard that stuff. It's like gold. I'm like a miser with it, to be honest. I have 3 little bottles that I'm saving for special occasions, and I just didn't want this page to be sticky, so that's why I used it. So what you're seeing now are some scrap tags that I did 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, something like that. I was just playing around trying to learn some new products, and I was just randomly stamping crap on some tags that I had used some distress inks and some, I think probably distress spray stains. I have some of those, and I needed to use them, but clearly, I mean, what was I going to do with it that way? So I'm using some of the Carabelle stamp, I think it's their mixed media line. I don't know. I got it off Amazon on sale. I'm stamping that out. I fussy cut it. You're welcome. I didn't make you watch that this time. And I'm trying to figure out exactly where to stick it. Stick it. I wanted to give a little bit more texture and some depth in the background. I mean, I'm being all fancy with my artist words, texture and depth. I'm going to do that again because I want more texture and more depth. I'm being fancy again. And I'm just going to actually stick them right in the back of the bird bowl. That's what I'm going to do. I don't even care at this point because I've been working on this tag for probably close to an hour and I'm starting to get frustrated. This is probably why you should have a vision of something in your head, or just be prepared to accept whatever you come out with. So expectations can be your downfall sometimes. So I'm gonna I'm actually gonna cut the top of that off so that it'll fit flush with the page. I'm gonna stick that back down and using again some more of that Distress Collage again with the finger, and I really like how that looked. Not so much without the bird, but once I'm done gluing, how much glue do I really need all that glue? I don't know. Maybe more is better. Like, can you have too much glue on a page? I feel like the answer to that is yes. And I want to, like, I need to make a note maybe for myself, stop using so much glue. Maybe that's why my book is sticky because I keep using too much glue. Revelations. I just had an epiphany while I was recording this. Thank you. If nobody ever watches this, I will have had an epiphany that I'm using too much glue. So if you remember last month, I started stamping out each month in the corner of the tags, but I didn't have the numerical stamps. So I went to Tuesday morning and I got one of those Project Life little date things, but it found out while I was at Tuesday morning, it only goes to like 2017. So again, there's no year, but there is the date that I did this tag, and I'm going to stamp out in the Distress Archival ink, and I believe that is Vintage Photo, which looks amazing. Oh my god, I love it. On a piece of cardstock and cut that out. And you'll notice at the top that I have actually written out the word obstacles in pencil. I had to spell check that. I can't spell. No shame. No one's perfect. And if anyone knows me at all, they just know that Shannon can't spell. I'm always surprised when people ask me, they're like, hey, how do you spell this? I'm like, really? You're asking me? So I didn't want to misspell the word, so I spelt it out. And I suspect that a lot of people do this. I don't think it's just me. So I'm cutting it out and I'm going to put it on the page. I actually deliberated quite a bit. And while I want to show you my deliberations, I didn't feel like this was not a learning opportunity, watching me deliberate where to put this. I was just being persnickety. I decided right there in the corner, that's where I'm gonna glue that down at. And I'm switching to another type of glue that it's a Tombow glue. It just works really well, and it dries. It actually doesn't leave all my stuff sticky. So there we go, guys. That's the page in my tag book. for the Dina Wakley October Gratitude Challenge, Obstacles. Thanks. We'll see you next time.